So, I take it you've been hearing a lot about some small little game where you kill aliens with friends called Destiny 2. You decided to bite the bullet and give it a shot. It's free to play, there's a new expansion coming out in February, you've got nothing to lose. There's just one small little problem. You have no idea what you're doing. This game has been out for years, gone through numerous transformations from casual to hardcore, and it's all just so daunting. That's where I come in. As someone who's been playing the game for 6 years, my perspective on the game is very different from what newer players go through and have to experience. I've played all the content as it was released, and over time, the way the content is accessed has been changed greatly, if not completely. So, I wanted to go back, start a new character, and guide people through the wonderful world of Destiny, because it truly is wonderful. It just has a few accessibility problems to iron out. With that out of the way, let's start from the very beginning. Choosing your first class to play as. From the moment you boot up Destiny and hit the login button, you are greeted with a choice. Who do you want to play as? There are 3 distinct classes in the game. What's this, a Warlock? A Hunter? A Titan? I don't know what any of this is. Well, it's okay. Just calm down and I'm going to take you through it, alright? So, from a gameplay perspective, what exactly is Destiny? Well, essentially, it's a first-person shooter where you play as space warriors who use alien guns and crazy magic abilities to slaughter everything in your path. These space warriors you play as are separated into 3 distinct classes with their own unique power fantasies and gameplay styles: Hunters, Titans, and Warlocks. Let's start with the Hunters. Hunters are your typical gunslinger and rogue outlaw personification. They are a very agile and lethal class that normally specializes in mobility and pure destruction. However, there are a few exceptions. Now, every class has what we call 4 subclasses. These subclasses each have their own unique elemental affinity and power fantasies. Think kinda like Pokemon types, but not quite that in-depth with the rock, paper, scissors. So, the names of these elements are Arc, Solar, Void, and Stasis. On a very basic level, Arc electrocutes things, Solar burns them, Void blows them up, and Stasis freezes them. Let's go down the line of Hunter subclasses. First up, we have Arc Strider. Every class and subclass in the game has a special grenade, melee, and class ability unique to them. You can see them down below in the bottom left. The grenades and melee abilities are tied to subclasses, and your class ability is defined by what class you play. For example, Hunters can dodge out of the way of incoming fire, Titans can put up a giant wall to protect you and your allies, and Warlocks can put down a rift that either heals you or gives you a damage bonus. Now, Arc Striders specifically focus around using a lightning-powered staff to clear out a ton of enemies at close range. You can also use the staff to deflect things back at people and to kill them. It's a very aggressive and in-your-face playstyle. If you'd rather channel your inner cowboy, then the Gunslinger subclass is the way to go. Conjure up a flaming pistol of death to incinerate people from range, or hail down a storm of flaming knives to destroy everything. This subclass is very much about precision, using throwing knives and guns to take people out in one hit. For the more support-oriented players, the Void subclass Night Stalker might be for you. See, Night Stalker focuses on being a shadowy predator. Going invisible and tying enemies together to make them easier for your teammates to kill is the name of the game. But you can also channel your inner ninja and summon a pair of dual katanas to clear the path, a very lethal or useful option. And now, for Stasis. Oh, Stasis. Specifically for Hunters, the Revenant subclass. Added in the most recent expansion, Stasis as an element is all about crowd control, freezing your enemies in place to give yourself room to breathe and then shattering them to pieces. Hunters get access to Silence and Squall, a pair of mini scythes that freezes enemies and summons an ice tornado to track them down. Now, that is a very basic overview for Hunter subclasses. If I went way too in-depth, we'd be here forever, and I would probably just confuse you. That's not my goal here. So, I just want to touch on the different things you can expect to experience. And then later, I can do more in-depth guides on each individual subclass that explains everything they do. Alright, let's move on to Titans. Titans, you are the tank. You are the wall, the unstoppable fortress. Your job is to protect your teammates either through impenetrable defenses or unrelenting onslaughts. Your body is your greatest weapon. Striker Titans are all about becoming miniature earthquakes. Slam your fist in the ground to create an electrified shockwave or turn your entire body into a missile to nuke your foes. Sunbreaker Titans like to turn everything into a pool of lava. They throw hammers of fire at anything in their way and won't stop. If the small hammer doesn't work, bring out the big one. The big hammer always works. Sentinel Titans are your rock. Using a shield of void light, they will protect you no matter the cost. If the shield doesn't work, how about a protective bubble that makes you even stronger? I guess for Titans, bigger is always better. And Behemoth Titans, oh, Behemoth Titans. They're like if the Hulk became an ice god. Create massive stasis pillars to freeze your enemies in place and then shatter them to wreak absolute havoc on the battlefield and protect your teammates. And last, but most certainly not least, we have Warlocks. Warlocks are your space wizards. There is nothing they can't do, but they focus on striking a balance between offense and defense to support themselves and their teammates. Stormcallers are the gods of thunder. Do you want to channel your inner Palpatine or Goku? This is the way. Float around the map, chaining lightning, or unleash a powerful beam of death at all of those around you. Dawnblade is about being an angel of death. You can either fly around wielding flaming swords at people, or place down a powerful well of radiance that buffs and protects all allies inside of it, basically making them invincible. There really is beauty in destruction. And Voidwalkers, you like explosions, you like magic, and you just want to see everything go boom. From bombs that seek your enemies to the ends of the earth, to turning everyone inside out while warping around everywhere, you really just love chaos. And finally, Shadebinders, sci-fi ice wizards. They've got a staff of ice and they freeze anything that crosses their path. Or maybe you'd like to turn your grenade into a miniature turret that freezes everything for you. Either way, nothing's getting away from you. And that was a very basic look at every subclass, just to give a glimpse at what they can do in their power fantasies. I left out a lot of information to try and overwhelm you. Like, I really dumbed it down here. Like, it's very shallow. But now that we're through that brief overview, it's time for the burning question. Which one should you play? Well, my answer is whichever one looks the most fun to you. There's a reason that my explanations of these classes and some classes have been very short, aside from just trying to overwhelm you. Because for the most part, it doesn't matter which one you play. Every class in Destiny has its strengths and weaknesses, and none of them are significantly stronger than the other. They are all viable throughout every aspect of the game, and anybody who tells you otherwise is either a liar or a bad player. I will stand by that. So, pick the one that looks the coolest. Try all of them out. See which ones are the most fun to you. If you can't decide, hell, just make a character for every class later. Enjoy the game and experience this world for yourself. My job is just to point you in the right direction. But, with that being said, my name's Yami, and I'll see you beautiful people next time.